Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Sierra. And you guys know Sierra from her many videos in the Borderline series. Um, Most notably, probably, is the Immaculate Conception of Herpes, which her mother base, her herpes-infested mother states. Well, basically, everybody has herpes, so. Here's Sierra's story. Hi Ollie, thank you again for your previous videos. I'm sending this with contribution. The validation has been very helpful. FYI, the grandmother who sided with my mother is my dad's mother. My mother's mother was allegedly horrible too, but I didn't know her well. Wow, I thought I was prepared after the first extinction burst. These were monkey trickles here and there, which I'll include here, but for the most part, I thought I plugged the holes. Then, on the eve of the first anniversary of my late fiance's passing, she sends the goddamn swarm to gaslight me about a medication I've taken at various points for many years. It's extremely common and non-addictive. She's been harping on that one medication for a while for reasons related to Scientology, and also because she knows it helps me. So my mother then posts a link to Facebook asking everyone to send me, specifically, this gaslighting link when I'm supposed to be grieving privately, when I've clearly requested no contact. Since my last letter, she's also harassed one of my high school boyfriends, telling him I'm making threats, and either it's that one medication or I have a crazy therapist. Uh-oh. Wonder who that is. This person witnessed the abuse firsthand and could not believe she'd try turning him against me. These are mostly fresh monkeys plus my grandmother. The monkeys responding to her ratcheting. My grandmother, whom I've written about in the past, is also terrible. Forwarded the link first. Given my clearly stated boundaries regarding my mother, I asked my grandmother, oh, what prompted this? She proceeded to lie her ass off about how it definitely wasn't related to my mother. She was just researching my medication on the internet. It's when they coalesce behind a plan. And, knowing what what people know about Scientology, the medication excuse is a great reason. Okay, it is a great hammer to ward off all their Scientology bullshit. What they say, oh, well, I'm not on medication, and well, it must be that medication, and it's part of their magic religion, their flying spaghetti monster religion. So, it all goes to, narcissistic gaslighting, and that's the point. She's an 81-year-old narcissist. She doesn't Google ever. She knows she's not supposed to harass me on my mother's behalf. Speaking of my grandmother's narcissism, her very old cat died last month. In this letter, she also called her new cat the Queen, complained that the cat used a litter box more than once a day, and said her old cat, who she previously called the King for 21 years, was clearly both totally different and vastly superior to her new scape cat. Seeing how I have recordings, yay, I wrote back and gave specific examples of specific gross things, herpes, BDSM parties, etc. my mother definitely said to me in a car or in a restaurant on specific days. I got no response, nor will you. I wrote back again several days later, noted the lack of response, then said, this is what I deal with. I'm glad we see eye to eye. I got this response. Exerted. Hi Sierra. My lack of response has nothing to do with you talking to your mother or not. Read it and think about how you respond to it. There is nothing to say. I disagree with most of what you said. That is my right and privilege. Well, you can't disagree with facts. And that's what the narcissist wants, that's my right. And that's what they believe. They believe it's their right to ignore facts. There's your problem. You have recordings. You have it right there. But the narcissist believes it's their right and privilege to ignore fact. That's why you can't win. That's like just like my father saying, even when I'm wrong, I'm still right. I mean, there it is. You have a vivid imagination, in my opinion. Well, facts don't care about your fucking opinion. That's the issue. And then they always judge, well, in my opinion. Apparently, you have not taken my advice about social media. That is your right and privilege, but you may pay dearly for your posts. Oh, nice threat there. I always thought of myself as a hiring manager when I had interactions with others, even before social media. I wanted you to be hired. You apparently do not care. Getting even in the abstract is more important to you. Huh. Interesting statement. I wanted you to be hired into our cult of narcissism. You decide to reject the job. Getting even is in the abstract is more important. Getting even for, so right there, the getting even, she has to acknowledge there's something to be getting even for. Though she says, I disagree, in my opinion. Getting even in the abstract is more important. Well, there would have to be something to be getting even for. Because she offered you a position in the cult of narcissists. She wanted you to be hired. You were being tested. Don't you know? You were interviewing for a position on the cult of narcissism, and you didn't get the job. Sorry. Followed by, okay. This is followed by several paragraphs of fishing for information, unrelated, and confusing crap. There it is. I have a vivid imagination. And obviously she can't think of a response, so how dare me. She just fails to make the connection that I also did not like hearing that sort of stuff from my freaking mother in a restaurant. I wrote back and just laid it out. No, I don't have a vivid imagination. My mother says gross things to me in secret, then lies about what she said later to say I'm crazy. I'm just waiting for them to call me psychotic. I feel a little psychotic though. But you know I'm also in the right here. What's hard is that not everyone can see that. There's only so many people I'm finding who want to sit down with me and listen to recordings of my mother discussing her herpes-ridden genitals. Some people don't want to find the truth. Scientology is a lot like Islam, where you will just deny the facts right in front of you, right in front of your face. Are you just grabbing people off the street and say, hey, listen to these herpes-ridden recordings of my mother? No. The people you're trying to get listen to these recordings are people who are accusing you of being the problem in the fucking first place. So anybody who doesn't want to listen to the truth, which is readily available to them, fuck them. Oh, okay, they're doing against Sierra. These people are doing you a favor. People who are going to hold lies against you when the truth is readily available to them. The truth, the factual, undeniable, recorded truth. Fuck them. That's how you know you'll never win. You'll never win. Even when they're wrong, they're still right. The same day, I also posted a meta-analysis of 50 years of research into corporal punishment that found that spanking is just not a useful tool and could be as damaging as other forms of physical punishment. A third sister to the woman I previously called Stacy and Cindy had commented on that post. She made the argument that if spanking was all that damaging, that if spanking was all damaging, it was traumatizing, and it was traumatizing. Her kids would be wimps, and her kids aren't wimps because they play hockey. Therefore, spanking is fine. You know what? I like hockey as a sport. I like playoff hockey as a sport. The people who play hockey or watch it religiously are fucking nuts. I mean, that is another level of cultism. So there might be something into that. You always have to take the people whose kids play hockey, they're in a cult. That hockey is another religious type of cult, and it is it is an aggressive type of person. You ever notice a hockey game? These guys, they can't stop pushing and shoving, and every time they're like, "You're around my goalie, around my goalie." All right, guy, we get it. We get it. We get it. There's something. So, yeah, the fact that this person is in hockey and saying, I beat him, but my kids are in hockey, that's a red flag. For me, personally. I wish I was exaggerating the stupid, but I'm not. And when I was shocked, she starts on how I'm just trying to be a victim. The post was being interpreted as someone being an oblique reference to my situation, like they're having delusions of reference and projecting them onto me. I point out her monkeying, unfriend, and wait. In 2 minutes, she's messaging me privately, telling me to stop being a victim, to suck it up and be a big girl. Demands I consider the hurt feelings of the person you deemed fuck bitch Stacy previously, and how Golden Child brother felt super protective of poor Stacy's feels after she wandered into my house and vomited on my kitchen floor. Let's worry about her, though. That and my brother's privacy, which apparently extends to my relationships in my life with people who aren't him, but doesn't preclude him from saying whatever he wants on my Facebook wall or helping my mom pump my friends in other states for information. I'll elaborate further below. I was explicably told that while it would be okay for me to talk about my life in therapy, I'm not allowed to taint anyone else's perspective because of what I experience. I mean, what the fuck? What are these people hiding? I'm really starting to get creeped out. It's another cult, Sierra. You know it's another cult, and all they care about is being exposed. That's all the cult cares about is not being exposed. Then this other woman, who my mom knows, also comments that she has 2 kids. One kid needed one spanking in 8 years, and the other kid needs a spanking hourly. Yes, hourly. Therefore, spanking is great. Well, it ain't doing a job. It ain't doing the job if you got to hit them hourly. It's just parents who get off on this shit. She's been smart enough not to directly engage yet, but I wrote her a message. I explained this is what child abuse looks like. It's never the case that one kid needs constant punishment and one never needs punishment. That a parent in that situation is always fucking up, and that I was now blocking her and please seek help and not abuse your kid further. I then block her because why wait? Then I heard my golden child brother, who said I was an unpredictable powder keg, was not going to be attending a major family event due to the conflict with my mother, who would not be attending regardless. And I was sad. My fiance died last year at this time. I'm grieving. I sent an email that they apparently somehow a farewell suicide note. It was 2 sentences. So what did they do? They're so concerned I'm suicidal that my brother's girlfriend contacted yet another friend in another state and attempted to pump for information before they tried to either messaging me directly or calling my phone. When they called my phone immediately, 4 minutes after the chat with my friend in another state, I answered. Golden Child Bro was sobbing. but my time and emotional space is valuable. And that was an enormous intrusion after the things he said. I hung up and sent an email explaining why what our mother had done was so messed up, and gave him a protocol of leave me the fuck alone for a month and then email before you call. Someone has to explain things to him, and our mother obviously sucks. By this point, I'm pissed. My grief has been stomped all over. So I post all this shit on Facebook. If I cut ties with my mom today, and it's hard, we'll bring the hellfire, and then why the hell not? And also, stalking harassment is a crime for a reason. People do go through this. People should know I'm going through this currently if something were to happen. And also, so people I know can see that some people are really like this, or just to have it compiled. And then who shows up in the goddamn comments of the goddamn flying monkey thread but a monkey who used to be someone I played soccer with when I was 12, but she lived with my mother for a time recently and probably heard some things. Here's her comment. Jill. I feel silly commenting because we haven't spent much time together in 15 years, but I like to give the benefit of the doubt and play devil's advocate for a different perspective. Everyone interprets events differently, so what you remember as abuse, your mom may not really be remembering as abusing you. Psychological abuse is very complex. And as you know, there is no such thing as a perfect parent. In fact, parents who are just two people who had unprotected sex, there is no handbook. We use what we know and often replicate the parenting we receive as a child, and sometimes what people think is normal is unhealthy. So it's possible your mom truly does think she did the best she could and doesn't interpret the events as abusive, and she is genuinely concerned for her daughter who is no longer speaking to her and has decided she wants nothing to do with her. I'm not trying to change your mind and reconcile a relationship with your mom, nor am I negating or minimizing your experiences. But I just realized that perspective is huge. This is somebody you haven't talked to in 15 years. Look, this Scientology, I didn't realize how deep the Scientology thing was with you, but this is what Scientologists, cultists do. They just have people coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. They are constant because it's all based in narcissism. And your mother has thrown her seeds everywhere. Everywhere. Anybody who comes at you with this stuff, at this point, I wouldn't even try convincing. Sierra, it's just time to cut this all off clean and stop trying to convince. You'll never convince anybody of any of this because they're too far into the cult. FYI, I'm an artist. I know more about perspective than she does. Then on the other post exposing my mother's direct stalking, another monkey shows up. This time it's my brother's ex-fiance. Who is this woman? Is my new favorite question because who is this woman? She suggested let it go and live your life. I think you're adding fuel to the flames by posting it. Just one woman's opinion. Previously, she tried to insert herself into the conflict by centering her experience of my mother. My goddamn mother has apparently always been a lovely woman to this one woman with the opinion of a giant head, whoever she is. I feel like I'm losing my mind. At least one of these people, and it's the one directing the narrative is a dyed-in-the-wool Scientologist. There is some level of Scientology afoot here, but the thing about them is they play conversational games to try to hypnotize you. It's obviously immune. I'm obviously immune by now, as I watch them play these games all my life. But it's sort of designed to mimic the experience of ideas of reference psychosis. So I feel crazy, Well, right, that's how Scientology works. Your body thetans are all fucked up. That's how it works. It's nothing more than a gaslighting cult. Please remind me that you've heard the recordings and it's not me, but I knew this shit was coming. Thanks again for everything. I'm in the process of getting a restraining order, though it's hard, as the initial person I talked to at my local precinct didn't seem to understand that cyber stalking harassment was a crime and Facebook Security Center was not a branch of the criminal justice system. Sierra. All right. Look, Sierra, you are going to have to get this. Scientology is playing a bigger role. This is how cults work. This is how cults work. And they use narcissistic gaslighting. They gaslight everybody. They gaslight you. And it never stops. Because even when they're wrong, they're still right. They don't look at evidence. They don't look at facts. Facts don't matter. They don't matter. The only reason they're in the fucking cult to begin with is so they can abuse. Your grandmother understands that. That's what she told you. That's what she was a hiring manager for. She was trying to hire you into the cult of abuse. That's what she was trying to tell. That's what they're all trying to tell you. And what they're afraid of is being exposed. You may not have enough right now for cyber stalking because there's no physical threats of violence or anything. It's just online harassment. I don't know. You may have enough, but keep on it. You may have to hire an attorney. I don't know. You may have to hire an attorney. That might be your best bet. So you don't have, so you're not walking in there alone. Unfortunately, in the legal system, money talks. And if you're going to try to get a restraining order against Scientologists, not everybody's going to want to jump in on that because they know what a bunch of fucking pain in the asses they are and how friggin' sue happy and litigious and, it's a bitch. It is a tough thing you're dealing with. You have the proof. You have the evidence. My only suggestion, if it would be possible for you to relocate and start over, change your numbers, relocate so they don't know where you are, and don't look back, because that's what people who leave Scientology ultimately have to do. The ones who aren't super rich, the super rich celebrities who can kind of afford to keep them away from it. The regular person who wants to leave can have their life destroyed, and I know that. So, you may want to look into some ex-Scientology groups. I know they have support groups for that as well. And some avenues, maybe there's some legal attorneys who help people trying to get away from Scientologists. I know there's some of those as well. Look into that, because I guarantee you your story is going to probably resonate even more so with other Scientology escapees. So, thank you again, Sierra, for another story and contribution. I know I'm sorry about your fiance, going on a year now, and thank you for all your openness. And, you started anonymous and then you're using Astrid, but, it's just another, again, you're Sierra, so I'm happy. And it takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing. And I appreciate all your support. So thank you. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a phone call, Skype chat, have a private video made, or a Facebook chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just sponsor the channel in general, see it grow, help keep the lights on, the bills paid, because that's great as well. You know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. And if you're still unclear, wait for the instructional video link to pop up on the screen at the end of this video to walk you through all of that. And if you're not seeing it, it's because your pop-up blocker is on. Please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance.